how goes this battle for peace and freedom in which we have such a colossal stake. Then we can make an intelligent audit. Then we can act without irresponsibility. Until then, I beg of you, for the sake of the hopes by which free men live, that you give E.C.A. a fair chance. Its mere creation already has paid heavy dividends. I ask it for what I profoundly believe to be the national interest of our own United States. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my statement. You will observe that I am not discussing the figures in any of the individual items that are in dispute. You will observe that I have reiterated what I said on the floor of the Senate when the bill originally passed, that I consider it to be the duty of this committee to apply its own independent judgment to all of those figures. I am simply urging, so far as specific figures are concerned, that you give careful and sympathetic consideration to Administrator Hoffman, from whom you have a right to demand all the information you want in justification of any figure in the bill. I am simply particularly urging as a fundamental proposition that you escape from the horrible hazard which is contained in this horizontal meat axe reduction of what can be figured either 20 or 25% in the net horizontal cut which results from arbitrarily spreading this appropriation out over 15 instead of 12 months. And I am very grateful.
You reiterate your statement on the floor of the House Committee, not of the Senate, that this committee has not a right but the obligation and the duty to scrutinize, examine exhaustively.
Senator Brooks, with this problem is one which is less related to the detailed mathematics than it is to the impact of the grand total situation upon what I believe to be the terrifically vital foreign interests of the United States. To the air and break it to the whole, and thus destroy, potentially destroy, the great reliance upon which we have been building with such substantial potential success to create independent autonomy in Western Europe, not only for its sake, but for ours.
Senator Cotton.
Whether, in your view, this committee, and I must now make an assumption, that this committee, assuming lack perhaps of adequate transportation in another, the figure of authorization,
reason, and this overall sort of an anonymous assault upon appropriations, which might prove to you that some of the figures ought to be increased instead of decreased. And I would hope you would be equally hospitable to the latter as well as to the former. So far as the consultation of foreign policy is concerned, I ask you only to give the program the benefit of the doubt for the next 8 months until we are in a position to actually audit the enterprise on a basis of reality and experience. If you cannot trust Administrator Hoffman not to be improvident during these 8 months, even though you should appropriate to him more than he finds he has to need, if you can't trust him to that extent, you'd better not trust him at all. Therefore, my only final answer to your question is that I think you should consult the general foreign policy impact of your recommendations to the extent of giving this great adventure for the time being, the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, sir.
Pro tem of the Senate.
Senator Gurney wanted to ask you a question.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Gurney asked to have a...
Mr. Chairman, as I see this problem, at that time we examined the world situation, took a survey, made our plans as to what we would do when we were victorious in the shooting war. And I liken that to a condition that maybe we have out in Oregon today, a flood of human suffering from an uncontrolled element. In the case in Oregon, an uncontrolled stream.